TLC's 90 Day Fiance and its many spin-off shows follow the lives of a variety of couples who travel far and wide to be with each other. But just because these couples are willing to make sacrifices, it doesn't mean that their romances last. In fact, many 90 Day Fiancé couples are infamous for being incompatible when they meet in real life and become completely miserable together. From dramatic incidents involving violence to vandalized property, we take a look at the 10 worst couples to appear on 90 Day Fiancé. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. That way you will never miss a future upload. Number 10. Larry and Jenny. In the 2017 spin-off show, 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days, we saw Larry travel overseas to Philippines to meet Jenny in her hometown after they connected online. We soon realized that Larry wasn't the nicest person when Jenny's family spent hours preparing an expensive traditional pork dish for him called lechon, to which Larry gagged and refused to take a bite. The worst part of the cringe-worthy scene is that he didn't understand what he'd done wrong. Number 9. Danielle and Mohammed. Some couples on 90 Day Fiancé start out strong, then take a turn for the worst. Fortunately, this was not the case for Danielle and Mohammed. The mother of 4 met her Tunisian fiancé in an online chat room, and before they knew it, Mohammed had hopped aboard a flight and moved into her small home. Things quickly turned sour when Danielle's lies came to the surface and her extensive money issues came to the surface. Number 8. George and Anfisa. The marriage of George and his Russian bride, Anfisa, came as quite a shock to fans after they watched what happened to be 90 days from hell. Their story began with an angered Anfisa refusing to go to the US because George wouldn't buy her a $10,000 designer purse, hacking into and erasing his mobile phone as punishment. During their 90 days, George repeatedly made it clear he was in love with her, while Anfisa made it clear she was only in the relationship for his money. In fact, she asked for a generous monthly allowance and had her heart set on a $45,000 wedding dress. Constant fights broke out during their time on the show, with Anfisa even keying idiot into his car. Despite this treatment, the two still walk down the aisle together. Although they are still married today, George is currently serving a 2.5-year prison sentence for drug charges. Number 7. Nicole and Azan. Single mother Nicole and Azan appeared in both seasons 4 and 5 of 90 Day Fiancé. Nicole first met Azan online, and the two quickly fell into cyber love. But problems arose when they couldn't get a K-1 visa without having physically met in person. Nicole flew out to Morocco for 5 weeks in season 4, but immediately found herself overwhelmed by the culture shock. Their relationship suffered when Nicole refused to understand and abide by Moroccan laws and customs, often insisting on physical affection in public, which led to many disagreements. Azan also did not hide the fact that he had an issue with Nicole's weight and her unhealthy eating habits. Their time on season 5 didn't end up much better, but miraculously, the couple are still together, although the K-1 visa is yet to be issued. Number 6. Mark and Nikki. One of the most awful couples to appear on 90 Day Fiancé still resulted in a wedding. Mark and Nikki had nothing but issues from the moment they met, with the audience getting their first taste of disaster when Mark brought his fiancée home from the Philippines to a house filled with photographs of his ex-wife. He then tried to give Nikki his 21-year-old daughter's hand-me-downs as a gift. Mark rarely acknowledged that he was in the wrong, and the relationship nearly ended when he insisted that Nikki sign a prenuptial agreement, which was urged by his lawyer. Despite all of this, the couple married but attempted to sue TLC after the season was filmed. Number 5. Molly and Lewis. Love hit hard for Molly and Lewis when they first met in the Dominican Republic while Molly was on vacation. What began as whirlwind romance for the mother of 2 turned into a nightmare as tensions rose between her boyfriend and daughters. Lewis wasn't very interested in being a strong father figure for the girls, as he spoke freely about casual sex with teenager Olivia. Later, he became totally disinterested with his other stepdaughter-to-be, Kinsley, after a disagreement. It all came to a shuddering halt after an explosive fight which saw Lewis blame the relationship problems on Molly's personal effects that she kept around the house, claiming that she was not a real Christian because of the ungodly art pieces. Surprisingly, the couple got married but divorced soon after. Number 4. Ashley and Jay. At first, it seemed like Ashley and Jay from season 6 would make it together. They met when Ashley was on vacation in Jamaica, and the two fell head over heels. There was an 11-year-old age gap between them, and many people doubted Jay's commitment to Ashley. Regardless, there was no denying the two had chemistry. They seemed to be very happy together, and at the end of season 6, they eloped in Las Vegas. But the marriage didn't last long. Soon after they returned home, Ashley found out that Jay had been talking to other women on a dating site. They tried to work through the cheating during season 4 of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, but when Ashley found out that Jay had done much more than just chat with strangers online, even with allegations of meeting up and having sexual relations in a public bathroom, she told him, quote, "If you show up at my house, the police will be waiting to deport your ass." End quote. Number 3. Darcy and Jesse. Darcy and her Dutch boyfriend Jesse first appeared on the first season of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. But it didn't take long for them to get a reputation for being one of the worst volatile couples ever to appear on the show. Darcy was a sweet woman with a tendency to be overly sensitive, while Jesse was immature and displayed erratic behavior. The almost 20-year-old age gap didn't help matters either. Every episode the two appeared in resulted in huge meltdowns and arguments. Jesse had an issue with Darcy's drinking, and there was an ongoing argument about whether or not Darcy threw a shoe at Jesse. One memorable argument started after Darcy wouldn't let Jesse prepare dinner the way he wanted to, which resulted in Darcy's teenager, Aniko, telling him, quote, "Both of you guys are acting like you're my age. Just grow up, please." End quote. Number 2. Colt and Larissa. Colt and Larissa had countless problems during their engagement on 90 Day Fiance. Larissa argued with Colt's cousin, his mother, and of course, her fiancé. The tension in their relationship started way back in their first episode when Colt didn't bring her flowers when he picked her up at the airport. But that was nothing compared to the stress of Larissa getting arrested right before their wedding. It turned out that one night when Colt and Larissa were fighting, Colt was forced to call the police on Larissa, which landed her in jail. The charges were eventually dropped, and the couple decided to move on from the incident. Unbelievably, Larissa was arrested again after they were married, then again for a third time in January 2019. Number 1. Ed and Rose. The most confusing couple to ever appear on 90 Day Fiance has to be Ed and Rose. When 54-year-old Ed from California met 23-year-old Rosemary from the Philippines online, he pointed out that he was old enough to be her dad, but Rose was not fazed by the incredible age gap. However, Ed already had a 29-year-old daughter who was very vocal about her father's relationship and his participation on the show. It was painful to watch as we saw Ed ask Rose to take an STD test, urged her to shave her legs and present her with a toothbrush, saying that her breath was not pretty. Rose could not ignore her hurt and disgust for Ed and decided that she couldn't put up with the man any longer. She went on to call him ugly, a bad person, and a liar. So that concludes our list of the 10 worst couples on 90 Day Fiancé. Are there any other couples you think should have made this list? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more videos like this one, you can hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Thanks for watching.